Ever feel like you're putting in the hours, late nights, studying, tons of flashcards, but still not seeing the results you want?
Yeah, like you're stuck in a rut, studying harder but not smarter.
Exactly. And it can feel like everyone else is just cruising, acing those tests without breaking a sweat.
Well, what if I told you it's not about some secret formula or being naturally gifted at studying?
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What's the secret then?
We're diving deep into that today with Attila Capo, an educational consultant who's worked with hundreds of students, helping them unlock their learning potential.
Okay, so we're talking real strategies, real students, from middle school all the way up to university level, right?
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
what's fascinating is that Capo doesn't believe in a one-size-fits-all approach.
So no more copying whatever study method is trending on TikTok this week.
Right. He's all about ditching the generic study advice and helping students discover what truly works for them.
So how does he do that?
It all starts with understanding how learning actually works, or how we misunderstand it, really.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. How many times have you gotten caught up trying to find the perfect technique? Flashcards, mind maps, the Pomodoro method, whatever it may be.
Oh, all the time, thinking, this is it. This is the one that will finally make everything click.
Exactly. We often think that finding that one perfect technique is the key to acing every test.
Yeah, like if I just use the right color highlighter, suddenly I'll understand everything.
Right. But Capo sees that as a fundamental misunderstanding of what it really takes to learn something.
It's like thinking that just buying the most expensive running shoes will automatically make you win a marathon.
Exactly. It's not just about the tool. It's about understanding how to use it effectively to achieve your goal.
So if it's not about finding that one magic technique, what is it about?
Capo talks about the importance of understanding your own unique learning process. He compares a learning technique to a pen.
Okay, I'm curious to hear how this plays out. Tell me more.
So a pen is just a tool, right? But simply having a pen doesn't make you a novelist. You need an idea of what you want to write, the motivation to actually sit down and put pen to paper. Even your mood can affect how well you're able to express yourself. All of these factors play into the process, just like with learning.
Okay, I think I see where you're going with this. So you're saying it's about more than just the technique.
Absolutely. It's about figuring out what works for you individually.
So instead of just grabbing any random study technique, it's more about figuring out what works for me, what fits with how my brain likes to learn.
Exactly. Campbell calls this developing a personalized study method. And he emphasizes that self-awareness is key here.
Self-awareness meaning like, what?
Well, it starts with asking yourself some important questions, like, do you thrive in group study sessions? Or do you focus better when you're by yourself?
I'm definitely a solo studier. Coffee shops are my jam.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, you're already tapping into that self-awareness.
Yeah.
But it's also about understanding things like, are you a visual learner? Do you need to see diagrams and images to really grasp a concept?
Oh, 100%. If it's just a wall of text, I zone out. But give me some visuals, some diagrams, and it's like my brain suddenly wakes up.
Right. Or maybe you're more of an auditory learner. You prefer listening to podcasts or lectures.
That makes a lot of sense. I've definitely had moments where I realized I wasn't retaining any information from a textbook, but then I heard a podcast on the same topic and it just clicked.
Exactly. And once you start to identify those individual traits, you can start tailoring your approach to learning accordingly.
It's fascinating how much we often overlook those personal factors. We get so caught up in finding that perfect study method, that magic bullet, but we forget to consider the individual using it.
Absolutely. And Capo says this is how we end up with these unsustainable learning experiences.
Unsustainable,
Yeah,
meaning.
it's like you were saying earlier, you put in all those hours, use all the techniques, but
Because
that,
it all just disappears from my brain the second the test is over.
right. And then what happens? You have to cram all over again for the next one. It's exhausting.
It's a vicious cycle. But Capo is saying there's a way to break free from that.
Exactly. He wants us to move away from just cramming information into our brains for a test and then immediately forgetting it all. It's about building habits and practices that serve you well beyond a single exam or even a single semester.
So it's more about genuinely understanding and retaining the information because you're learning in a way that actually works for you.
Precisely. It's about
Yeah.
developing a love of learning that lasts a lifetime.
That long-term perspective is something I think a lot of us, myself included, sometimes forget about. We get so caught up in the immediate pressures of deadlines and exams that we lose sight of the bigger picture.
And it's understandable, right? Those deadlines can feel so all-consuming.
They really can.
But think about it this way. What if you actually enjoyed the learning process?
Okay, yeah, that would be amazing. But is that even possible?
Capo says absolutely. And it comes back to that personalized approach. If you feel equipped to tackle new information effectively, you're more likely to embrace challenges and pursue your goals.
It's about moving away from that feeling of, I'm just not good at this, and towards, I can figure this out, even if it takes a bit of work and some personalized strategies. I love that shift in perspective.
Exactly. And that feeling of empowerment, that's what Capo emphasizes as a key benefit of building a personalized study method. It's not just about achieving good grades, although that's definitely a nice bonus.
It's about more than just checking boxes and passing tests.
It's about feeling a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment in your ability to learn and grow. It's about realizing that you're capable of mastering new skills and tackling complex topics, even if it takes time and effort.
So it's about more than just the grades. It's about feeling good about yourself as a learner.
Exactly. And to guide students on that journey, Capo highlights three key elements for developing a successful study method:
Okay, I'm all ears. What are they?
mastery, awareness, and adaptability.
Okay, let's unpack these a bit. Mastery, I'm guessing, is about really owning your approach, becoming confident in your ability to learn.
You got it. And we've already touched on awareness, understanding your learning style and preferences, but adaptability, that one's crucial too.
Adaptability. Tell me more about that one.
So what works for you in one situation might not be the best approach in another.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like the way I study for a history exam is probably pretty different from how I'd tackle a physics problem set.
Yeah.
So like what works for me now as a university student might not have worked so well back when I was in high school, right?
Exactly. Or even within university, what helps you grasp concepts in, say, a literature class might need some tweaking when you're tackling a more problem-solving focused subject like math or physics.
So it's about being flexible, being willing to experiment and adjust your strategies as you go. It's almost like having a toolbox full of different learning tools and knowing which one to grab depending on the task at hand.
That's a great way to put it. Capo talks about how this approach to learning isn't about finding a magic formula and sticking with it forever. It's an ongoing journey of discovery and refinement.
Yeah, it's like they say, the only constant is change.
Absolutely. And that commitment to lifelong learning, to constantly seeking out new information and refining your approach, that's what Capo believes ultimately leads to true mastery.
It's not about reaching some finish line and saying, okay, I'm done learning now.
Not at all. It's a lifelong adventure, and the more you embrace that, the more fulfilling the journey becomes.
It's about embracing the journey and finding joy in the process of continually learning and growing.
Exactly. And for anyone listening who's ready to embark on that journey, I highly recommend checking out Attila Capo's website. We'll link it in the show notes. He has a ton of resources on there to help you dive deeper into these concepts and start building your own personalized study method.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to check that out after this. So to wrap things up today, we've learned that building a truly effective study method is about so much more than just memorizing facts or finding that one magic study hack.
It's about understanding yourself as a learner, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and tailoring your approach accordingly.
And being open to the fact that what works best for you might change and evolve over time.
Absolutely. It's about creating a sustainable system that works for you, not against you.
It's about time we ditch those generic study tips and embrace the power of personalized learning.
It really is.
And who knows, it might even make learning something you actually look forward to. Thanks for diving deep with us on that today.